I want to say to all of you a very warm welcome at the 62nd session, Come Together, Connecting People by Culture. I'm very happy to be today with you. My name is Anna Zlibuț. I'm the first Vice President of the Writers League Timișoara Banat branch. And together with Carmen Staderhofer, the President of Institut Eloy and President of Danube Networkers for Europe, we will moderate this session. This session, it is very dear to my heart because beside the program, the Romanian will also celebrate our National Day of Culture. But you will see that in the program. Carmen, if I give the floor to you.
Thank you, Anna. Very warm welcome to all of you. I'm very glad for all. It's the beginning of the year, and I start with our best wishes for all of you, for a healthy year, but also a year with more peace, more solidarity, and engagement of all of us be part of this. I'm very glad I see also Marina. Hi, Marina. We from Eloy have a good news. As far as you know, since 2.5 years, this kind of sessions, international sessions, are supported by the Baden-Württemberg Foundation. And they find it so fine what we are doing that they give us a support for also this year, 23. And so it's a very good message to give to all to you that we can meet us all 2 weeks again and more and widespread our idea of good friendship and friends meet friends and get new friends. And I hope we will do it. This year we have a little bit a change. Not a change of the program. We would like to have songs and poems as every time from all countries, from different countries. But we will ask also in the session one person, especially one person as time witness, to speak a little bit about life experiences. And so to have a base to debate and to hear more, not only about culture, which is a very important thing, but also about everyday life. And so we will start again. I'm very glad about the contribution from Stan Miller. Stan Miller is linked with us or our work since a very long time, and so we asked him to start this session, but we hope to find other people here from our group, or you know someone who is ready to take over the part and to speak a little bit about life and life experiences, and we will share and we will discuss. We hope that this gives us new experiences for this come together sessions. And I'm very curious, but also very happy to start this evening with this new form. We will see. So let us have a very nice evening together and enjoy and share and learn.
Super. So we can start now our program because today's programs, as we said before, will contain poems, will contain a very interesting presentation from England, will contain song, but we will begin with a very beautiful poem from France. The poem is Je dis la paix, I say peace, a poem by Louis Aragon and recited by Marie-Madeleine and Vincent Calvez from Vannes, France. I give the floor to you.
Thank you so much. We have been connected for a long time, so it's a pleasure to reconnect. Aragon is a very committed poet who lived in the 20th century and took part in the surrealist movement. He wanted to be the eyes and the memory of his time. In the last part of the collection with here this bears this title, the eyes and the memory. appears a long poem, Le Chant de la Paix, The Song of Peace. And of course, it was written in 1954, just at the end of the war between Vietnam and France. So it was a period of peace, and he hoped that it can be a long period of peace. But in any case, it says that it's fragile also. So that is the poem. Je dis la paix, pâle et soudaine, comme un bonheur longtemps rêvé, comme un bonheur qu'on croit à peine avoir trouvé.
Je dis la paix comme une femme, j'ouvrais la porte et tout à coup, ses deux bras autour de mon âme et de mon cou.
Je dis la paix, cette fenêtre qui battit l'air un beau matin, et le monde ne semblait être qu'odeur du thym.
Je dis la paix pour la lumière, à tes pas dans cette saison, comme une chose coutumière à la maison.
Pour les oiseaux et les branchages, verts et noirs au-dessus des eaux, et les alevins qui s'engagent dans les roseaux.
Je dis la paix pour les étoiles, pour toutes les heures du jour, aux tuiles des toits, et pour toi, l'ombre et l'amour.
Je dis la paix aux jeux d'enfance. On court, on saute, on crie, on rit, on perd le fil de ce qu'on pense dans la prairie.
Je dis la paix, mais c'est étrange ce sentiment de peur que j'ai, car c'est mon cœur même qui change, léger, léger.
Je dis la paix vaille que vaille, précaire, fragile et sans voix, mais c'est l'abeille qui travaille sans qu'on la voie.
Rien qu'un souffle parmi les feuilles, une simple hésitation, un rayon qui passe le seuil des passions.
Elle vacille, elle est peu sûre, comme un pied de convalescent, encore écoutant sa blessure, son sang récent.
Extraordinary. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Marie-Madeleine and Vicent. And this poem is so, how can I say, touching, because in this time, peace is, we need so much, and we hope someday we'll have it as quickly as possible. Thank you so much, and many, many regards to Van. And it was a pleasure to see you and to see you, the both of you, Marie-Madeleine and Vicent. Thank you. It was extraordinary. Thank you. Bravo, bravo. And now we will continue our program with the presentation of Stan Miller, and it will be extraordinary to know about the changes that has been made through over the time. Stan,
Right, thank you. Can I have the first slide, please? Right, so perspectives on change. Now, this is the title of a talk, a presentation I gave originally for an hour. However, today I will offer a much shorter, condensed version of the original. Slide 2, please. In 1924, an exhibition was held in Wembley, which is about 10 kilometers from the center of London. The British Empire exhibition had been planned much earlier, but wars and politics had delayed it. It was to celebrate the British Empire, which then consisted of 58 countries across the world. In the event, 56 of those countries took part. If you looked at a map of the world at that time, much of it was colored pink. That was the empire, but even then, people were aware that it was shrinking. And today it's been replaced by the Commonwealth, a loose confederation of largely independent countries. But why this slide? Why this slide of Wembley Stadium? Well, it's because I was born and lived there, just up the hill above the stadium. My family consisted of my two parents and 3 children, of whom I was the youngest. My parents had been born and bred in London, but my grandparents were Jewish refugees from what we now know as Poland and Lithuania, but then all part of Tsarist Russia. As I grew up, there were only 2 of the grandparents left, neither of whom spoke English fluently. Slide 3, please. My sister was 10 years older than me and left home as a married woman, age 18. So my brother and I, whom you see here, 5 years apart, followed the same educational pattern. We attended at age 5 the local primary school, and then at 11 we passed the examination, which took us to a grammar school, a secondary school for the minority of children thought to be capable of an academic education up to the age of 18. For the majority, however, their secondary schools only took them to age 16, and the curriculum was less specialized and less demanding. This pattern of separation reflects a fundamental truth about Britain, which is that it's a divided nation. Wealth, education, culture, speech, occupation, where people live, and the homes they live in, all of these reveal differences which either enable or disable. And we can add religion and skin color to that list. These divisions may be less marked than in the earlier years of my life, but they still persist. Although my brother and I followed a similar route, we were of different temperaments and achieved different outcomes from our time at school. He was more serious and hardworking than me. I spent much more of my time in the ice rink, which was in the building now called the Wembley Arena, which you saw on the previous slide. I enjoyed some success in the junior ice hockey team and was a member of the England junior team. Although, of course, there weren't that many ice hockey teams in England at that time. My other activities as a teenager were focused on earning money. And I had a number of different weekend jobs, including working in a milk bar. Coffee bars hadn't reached England by then, and a music shop in central London. And in that shop, they sold records, the vinyl ones, both new and used. And my job was to improve the appearance of the old ones by applying a coat of black shoe polish to the discs, which made them look much brighter and newer than they actually were. And in the summer after I left school, I worked full-time for a firm of accountants, helping on audits of various companies in different parts of London. Now aged 18, ready for my entry into adult life, this could either be as a conscript into service in the armed forces, or deferment from that until the completion of university studies. This latter choice, university studies, was the route my brother had chosen, and I now decided to follow the same route. Unfortunately, my lack of devotion to academic study produced the inevitable result. I failed to reach the required standard, and my final school exams. But luck was on my side, and I was offered a place in a university on condition that I repeated the exams I had failed before entry to the degree course which I had chosen. So, in October 1951, I joined an even smaller minority than before, as I became one of the 5% or so of my age group entering higher education. Today, that figure is roughly 40% of the age group. Slide 4, please. University College Leicester was for me a totally new environment and a new way of life. I was now a semi-independent person, having left the sheltered experience of home. Being away from home, sharing a room in a university residence, organizing my own time were all new experiences. Even getting from Wembley to Leicester, some 100 kilometers distant, involved an interesting new experience, hitchhiking. I thoroughly enjoyed this first year, but again, I failed the end of year exams. Disaster. I was given one last chance, pass the examination in November and proceed to the main degree course, or into the army you will go. All's well that ends well. With some useful advice from my brother and some hard work, I eventually made it onto the French language and literature course, which would occupy me for the next 3 years. So in June 1956, I emerged with a good degree and as president of the Students' Union for the 1956-57 year. That year consisted of informal and formal occasions as president, as well as my preparation for a career in education. So this slide, you can see a group in using modern technology, a Gestetner printing machine, and below as president with my committee there. Could I have slide 5, please? And here you see one of those formal occasions, and probably rather more formal than we see today. The chairman of the county council there. Slide 6, please. Well, we'll come back to that. In 1954-1955 year, my course had taken me to France as a foreign language assistant in a French lycée. And despite my difficulty in passing exams in German, I had asked to be placed in part of France near Germany. I couldn't have been nearer. Sarreguemines was 16 kilometers from Saarbrücken. And in addition to all the various experiences of that year abroad, I learned to understand something of the difficult historical relationship between those two countries. And on my return to the UK in the summer of 1956, I again sought employment, and I was taken on by a major tourism company to act as a travel courier, accompanying British tourists to Switzerland and to Germany. And here you see me with some of those tourists at Heidelberg Castle. This occupied 2 of my summer vacations, and it gave me some insight into handling groups of people and the demands of a stressful occupation. Slide 7, please. In June 1957, my wife, a fellow student of French, and I were married. And after another brief temporary job, I began my teaching career. This was in a school which was part of an experimental scheme of comprehensive education, where the divisions of separate secondary schools were mitigated by having all of an age group together learning in a single school. This change has developed over the years, but met considerable opposition initially. The next few years were busy and demanding times. By 1960, we had a young daughter. I had a period off work following surgery to remove a brain tumor, and the first of several of my books for schools had been published, which you see here. Slide 8, please. After 16 years of service in 4 very different secondary schools, my career took a turn as I became a school inspector and advisor in Nottinghamshire, and finally as a senior inspector advisor in England's second city, Birmingham. My retirement was early, in my 50s, but then yet more opportunities opened up. A new national scheme of school inspection was introduced, and I took part in well over 20 of those inspections, after which I became part of a private educational consultancy with a retired senior academic from Birmingham University. And then, finally, I became involved in the world of third age education, where I met, among others, a lady called Carmen Stadlerhofer on a committee which I chaired for a number of years. And that committee was very much an international committee. Slide 9, please. It was during those years that I had gone to a college in Birmingham where our consultancy had an office to pick up some post. Unusually, the entrance to the college was lined by young children holding flowers and obviously waiting for the arrival of some important person. This was confirmed when the principal of the college emerged, accompanied by the well-known figure of the head of the English Catholic Church, Cardinal Basil Hume. They were also awaiting an arrival, which turned out to be none other than Mother Teresa, whom you see here. And I'd only come there to pick up my post. Slide 9, please. Yes, slide 9. Yes, that's slightly out of order. Right. In 2012, a debate was held in the House of Lords, the second chamber of Parliament in Westminster, on questions relating to the care of the vulnerable in our society. U3A, University of the Third Age members and senior school pupils from across the country took part in this event, and I was fortunate enough to be there as well. Apart from the debate, I also learned something important. When the Lords, the House of the Lords who normally are there, are in session, some may well be asleep, slouched on the leather benches. But leaning back like this is in fact necessary to be able to hear through the loudspeakers which are embedded in the back of the benches. Slide 11, please. Some few years earlier than that, this invitation, which you see on the screen, arrived. It was quite unexpected, and without being royalists, my wife and I were delighted to be invited to the palace. There were some 200 people on that occasion, including many famous in the fields of science, education, and entertainment. Slide 12, please. Photography was not permitted, but an official photographer followed the Queen as she talked to the invitees. This was the only published picture, and shows HMQ, Her Majesty the Queen, enjoying a joke with a former Speaker of the House of Commons and a very well-known television actress. Just behind them, you see a a gentleman wearing spectacles, get it right, who was part of our party, with his wife's hat just visible further back. Myself, you can just see next to him, and looking away from the Queen, a lady in pink, my wife. So, as I approach my 90th birthday, I'm still busy and very much aware of the changes I've witnessed over the years. Thank you very much for your attention.
We thank you. We thank you very much, Stanley. It is incredible, a very, very interesting presentation, and we learned so much from it. And you have such a very interesting and nice life. It's extraordinary, no words. Perfect. And now we will continue with a very nice poem of Mihai Eminescu. Mihai Eminescu is the Romanian national poet, the greatest of all. And I would like to give the floor to Silvia Gabriela Almăjan, who will recite the poem Și dacă. And after the version in Romanian, I will recite it in English. But first, let's hear it in Romanian, recited by Silvia Gabriela Almăjan.
Dacă, de Mihai Eminescu. Și dacă ramuri bat în geam și se cutremur locnic, e ca în minte să te am și încet să te apropii. Și dacă stele bat în lac, adâncul luminându-l, e ca durerea mea să-o împac înseninându-mi gândul. Și dacă norii deși se duc, de iese în luciu luna, e ca aminte să-mi aduc de tine întotdeauna. Mulțumesc! Îmi amintesc cu drag de voi întotdeauna.
Mulțumim, mulțumim! Also, Silvia Gabriela repeated the last lyric, that she will always remember us, because I will translate this, I will recite this poem in English also, just to say that the day of 15th of January is the birthday of Mihai Eminescu. He was born in 1850. And now I will recite you the version, the English version made in 1980 by Roy McGregor. When branches tap the window and the poplars trembled here, it is to let you in my mind and slowly to come near. And when the stars circle the lake, force light down to the depths, it is to soothe my aching heart and set my mind at rest. And when the thick clouds break, to the bright full moon comes through, it is to remind me eternally of you. Thank you. Mulțumesc. This was the English version, as I said, made 43 years ago. And we are very, very attached to Mihai Eminescu. The Romanian people consider the greatest and the most important poem of ever time in Romania. Thank you so much. And because we celebrate this day, I also chose a song which will be performed by Ana Gheaur from Timișoara on the lyrics of Mihai Eminescu. This song is a love song, of course. Ana Gheaur, the floor is yours. Te auzim.
Sara pe deal, buciumul sună cu jale. Turmele lurg, stelele scapără în cale. Apele plâng, clar izvorând în fântâne, sub un salcâm, dragă, mă aștepți tu pe mine, sub un salcâm, sub un salcâm, dragă, mă aștepți tu pe mine. Luna pe cer trece așa sfântă și clară. Ochii tăi mari caută frunza cea rară. Stelele nasc umezi pe bolta senină, pieptul de dor, fruntea de gânduri ți plină, pieptul de dor, pieptul de dor, fruntea de gânduri ți plină. Naurii curg, razea lor șiruri de spică, streșine vechi, casele lună ridică, scârțâie în vânt cumpăna de la fântână, valea-i în fum, fluiere murmură stână, valea-i în fum, valea-i în fum, fluiere murmură stână. Ah, în curând, statul în valea muțește. Ah, în curând, pasul spre tine grăbește. Și sub salcâm stavom noi noaptea întreagă. Ore întregi, spuneți voi cât îmi ești dragă. Ore întregi, ore întregi, spuneți voi cât îmi ești dragă. Merci beaucoup.
Beautiful, a very beautiful voice and very beautiful lyrics of Mihai Eminescu. Thank you so much. It was great. And now, after this beautiful song, I want to introduce you Alice Vătuiu. Alice Vătuiu is a very extraordinary person, because I want to say you that I read few weeks ago a text made by her, and I was very astonished how beautiful she wrote. It's and then I asked her to see what kind of poems, and when I read one poem of her, I was also astonished, and it is super. I have only good words of her. I can tell you she is 40 years old, and she finished 2 faculties, one in Romania and one in France. She lives now in France because destiny carried her in different cities. She was born in Drobeta Turnu Severin, then she went to Hunedoara, Orșova, Bucharest, Cluj-Napoca, and now she lives in Perpignan in France. She lives there with her 2 daughters. One is 12 years old and one is 18. And as I said to Stanley before, for us it's very important to know the first, when the first books were published. And I can tell you from her that her first volumes of poetry was published in 2007. It was Slaves of the Wounded Watch, and It's Raining Great, My Love. And she will tell us about her poem. Her poem is named Pântecele Lumii, Dans la matrice du monde, Into the Womb of the World. She will tell us in English about this poem, and then she will recite for us in Romanian and French. Alice, I give you the floor to you.
Thank you very much. I'm very, very honored to be here with you tonight. Hello to everyone. So I will start with the poetry presentation in English, and after that I will give you the poem in Romanian and in French. So the poem Womb of the World was written and published in 2007 and is part of the volume of poems It's Raining Great, My Love, published at the MJM Publishing House in Craiova. It is an image of love beyond time, a love that is stronger than death. A story that is always reborn to relive the same sublime and perpetual meeting of soulmates, destined for eternal communion, far beyond anything that can be measured or imagined in our limited reality. It's a love story bathed in the tears of the sky, a great summer rain, a hope regarding the immortality of our souls and experiences, a primordial and also an ultimate meaning for a human life that refuses to believe that there is nothing beyond death. What would love, passion, tumult, emotions, crushes, and ecstasy be given to us for if everything would dissolve into nothingness? Love never fails. 1 Corinthians 13:8. So now the poem in Romanian. Pântecele lumii. Ploaia a oferit o altă dimensiune timpului. A dobândit o nouă definiție alături de tine. Atâtea picături ne-au inundat vara. Atâtea valuri ne-au împins spre uscat, că am pierdut rostul anilor, cursul vieții și agonia răspunsului. Azi, lacrimile se confundă cu ropotul ploii. Mințile acoperite de ape bolborosesc amintiri de explozii. Împletirea destinelor noastre, reîncarnate viață de viață, îngenunchează în uimire zeitățile și demonii abisului. Aceeași ploaie de secole ne leagă în iubire. Același vers nebun ne osândește. Aceiași îngeri căutând răspunsuri ne întâmpină în vreme. Ne apropie sub aripi când veacul ne desparte. Mi-ai fost de la începuturi promis de ursitoare, hărăzită nălucă ce moartea nu-i șterge amintirea. Mi-e dat să renasc de fiecare dată când te simt rătăcind pe pământ, să reînnod povestea de unde încremenise. În fiecare viață îmbătrânesc pe drum, dar fiecare nouă moarte mă apropie de tine. Împovărată ploaia cu lacrimi de iubire, de-a pururea și în veacuri, din pântecele lumii ne naște pe amândoi. And now the same poem in French. Dans la matrice du monde. La pluie a donné une autre dimension au temps. Elle a acquis une nouvelle définition à côté de toi. Tant de gouttes nous ont inondés en été. Tant de vagues nous ont poussés vers la rive. Et j'ai perdu le but des années, le cours de la vie, l'agonie de la réponse. Aujourd'hui, les larmes se mêlent au grondement de la pluie. Nos esprits couverts d'eau marmonnent de souvenirs d'explosion. L'entrelacement de nos destins réincarnés vie après vie anéantit d'étonnement les divinités et les démons de l'abîme. La même pluie, depuis des siècles, nous lie dans l'amour. Le même ver fou nous condamne. Les mêmes anges à la recherche de réponses nous rejoignent au cours du temps. Ils nous approchent sous leurs ailes quand l'âge nous sépare. Tu m'as été promis dès le début par les faits et la mort n'efface pas ta mémoire. Je suis destinée pour renaître à chaque fois quand je te sens errer sur la terre, pour reprendre l'histoire d'où elle était suspendue. Dans chaque vie, j'ai vieilli au cours du temps, mais chaque nouvelle mort me rapproche plus de toi. La pluie trop chargée par nos larmes d'amour, pour toujours et à jamais, du ventre du monde, il nous donne naissance à tous les deux. Merci beaucoup.
Bravo.
Noi mulțumim, extraordinar, a fost superbă, felicitări.
Felicitări.
Merci frumos.
I congratulated Alice because the poem was extraordinary, superb, touches our heart. Thank you so much, Alice. Congratulations again. So we were delighted today by beautiful poems and song, but I can see here in the chat that is wanted also the poem in German. So Alice, if you could translate it also, because
In
Alice,
German, no, I can do it.
we are very okay. Thank you.
You could translate it if you write to me who would be interested, or Barbara, I can just send it to you. Maybe I can translate it and send it to you.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. But most of all, we heard a very interesting presentation from Stanley Miller. Stanley, thank you again, because we heard so much about the life experiences, and that's very important, and because we have a lot to learn and also to discover and to know more about the history and everything and personal experience, and to learn from that and to be enriched by this experience. And I think I by myself enjoyed very much this session. Carmen, I give the floor to you.
Yes, dear friends, this was a first experience, and we hope that you enjoyed it. We have to work on to make it more understandable for all persons who are in presidency. So also the German or others, and also the Serbian, because I hope, Tomislav, you will bring us other people in. And so we have 2 demands. Let us know a little bit if you like this kind of personal presentation and some proposals, and bring with you other people to get more and more friends of all ages. And let us also reflect in this year how we can foster the connections we have between us since a long time in other ways, not only by together in the come together session, but perhaps we can develop more individual contacts, or to have a common group in Maden, something. Let us reflect about. And last not least, if you know a little bit English and you like to train it, as Stan said, he starts now the new course with Ushi. It's an international offer for those who like to activate it and knowledge. You are really welcome. And Marina, can you just say when starts the next session? It's free, of course, for you, but you have to subscribe.
Yes, so the English conversation course will start, as Stan already said, this Thursday, the 19th, and it's always at 5 p.m. And if you want to register, you can write, I will write the email in the chat to Rafael Gonzalez. I will just send you his email and we will send you the registration link after. There's also French conversation course. It's every 2 weeks on Mondays. The next will be on the, what is it, the 23rd. And here the same, you can write to us if you want to register. It's always at 4:30 p.m. every 2 weeks, and the English conversation course as well. And then I think you are looking forward also to new faces. So if you are interested, let us know.
And if you have other ideas to foster our communication, let us know. And write, Marina, can you also write in the chat? Rafael is one of our cooperators in Eloy, and perhaps can also our address us some inspiration. Have a good evening, Anna. Thank you. Thanks, Ottilia and Tonelli for translation. Thanks for Pari for the techniques, but above all, thanks to all actors. Stan, those who give us a very nice song or a poem, and let us continue in 2 weeks.
Thank you to all of you, and see you in 2 weeks.